All right, everyone, we are live. Welcome to Beyond the Woodline. I almost forgot the name of the show for there for a second. I'm Joe DeHoyos. I'm the host. I have my lovely and talented co-host Shannon Rogers,
Hey guys.
Miss Giggles over here.
Yeah.
Uh, before we get into what you're doing last night, I went out last night with some family, some cousins. He had a birthday, and he was actually the same cousin I told you the story about where they did the remodeling on our old house where he was getting
Yeah.
grabbed on the arms. I was asking him about that. And he goes, "Man," he says, "ever since your house," he said, "I got something following me around or something." Ever since then, he's had experiences and where he sees shadows or sees other people, like lost loved ones,
Oh yeah.
like and even that morning, yesterday morning, he said he woke up and his mom and his grandmother were standing right there and it freaked him out. And
It
he
sounds like
said,
he's a sensitive, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, maybe. But so he started asking me about the show and what exactly. He says, because they see it when it comes on. And I told him what we do and stuff, and I told him about the Bigfoot stuff. And come to find out, his grandfather on his dad's side had some land up near Madisonville, Texas, which is a little bit north of Houston, maybe a couple hour drive north of Houston. And that they would see Bigfoot walking on the property when they were kids, that they would see it. And there was like a river that went through the property, and it would walk along the wood line and the shoreline and look at them while they were swimming in the river or floating in the river, and that they would get scared and run off. And he said
Oh
one
right.
time, yeah, he said one time they actually went after it when trying to find it, and they found the footprints, but the footprints disappeared. So that was pretty cool, man. I think it's funny how when you're in this field, whether it's paranormal or Bigfoot or UFOs, if you put yourself out there, you'll start hearing more and more people have these encounters. They just don't talk about them, and
Right.
that's one of the things I like about this field. So how was your night last night?
It was awesome. We went out to Goatman's Bridge. It was very cold, but we were bundled up, and we have Cayman and Caleb. They're like our junior investigators on our team, and they don't get to go to very many places for obvious reasons. But Goatman's Bridge is one place that we do definitely feel comfortable taking them on certain times. Depends on who's all out there, what they're doing. But we had fun. We had amazing, of course, once again, Daniel's, portal is
Right.
just very exact. We had a lot of good responses, a lot of light ups on the cat balls, the K2s. I finally got to use my super ear, and don't laugh. My son wanted to buy me something for Christmas, and he told my mom. I told her I wanted something not too expensive, so I said to get the super ear.
Okay.
It helps magnify audio.
Right.
Well, what's cool about this thing is because I've used it once somebody else's when there was a portal going in the background. So you basically get like live EVPs while you're going, so you don't have to stop and hit play. You can hear it yourself.
All right. Okay.
So we were listening to those. It was awesome. We had fun. We got some good stuff.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, you took some pretty cool pictures. I like the green smoke
Yeah,
light. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah, it was fun.
That was pretty cool. So we have with us today our special guest, Mary Fabian, the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. How you doing, Mary?
I'm doing very good. Thank you.
Yeah. How were your holidays?
Very nice.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Mine were kind of slow and kind of boring, but it wasn't bad. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into the Bigfoot field, or you know?
What got me into it? I had had a sighting whenever I was a kid. I was around 10 years old, and I had seen a Bigfoot. We lived on a farm at the time, and I was taking a walk along the back field. There's a gas line, and I was walking along the gas line, went down into a dip, and on the other side of the dip, just directly across from me, um, a Bigfoot walked out of the woods to my right and walked across the gas line, stopped, and looked at me. And then he just continued across. Now, at the time, I did not know it was Bigfoot because this was before the Patterson-Gimlin film. And I had no idea. All I thought was, okay, it's a big guy with a fur coat on in the summertime. Didn't know. Didn't realize until many, many years later.
Okay. So, what do you think he was doing? I mean, do you think it noticed you before, or do you think it noticed you when he was really out in the open?
Uh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I may have surprised him. Who knows?
Mhm. Yeah, you get that a lot where they come out and you kind of catch them off guard. I think is what
Yeah,
happens a lot. So who knows what he was doing? Maybe he was just taking a stroll and sensed you or smelled you or saw you out of the peripheral. Was like, oh,
it
she's there. But
probably out of his peripheral because I was walking, so my movement probably caught his eye.
okay. And did he look like he was startled, or he just kept on doing what he was doing?
No, he just kept on doing what he was doing.
Hmm.
I was no threat to him, so he just went on doing his whatever he was doing.
Like, that's funny. That's pretty good. Yeah, here goes Denise. She says, usually juveniles are more likely to show themselves. Yeah, I think that's pretty common.
Yeah, I did that also.
Yeah, I think they get a little bit more braver or bolder.
Yes.
And I think if you catch an older one, they're usually making a mistake, or they just walked up on them, and
Yeah.
Or I think if an older one shows itself, it's usually, for a reason.
Yeah.
So was that like your only sighting or experience with that, or?
Oh no, I've had 5 sightings
Oh
altogether.
man, wow. Was there
Uh,
anything, any one sighting that stood out more than the others?
uh, I think my most of them have been kind of run of the mill, more of a um, along the side of a road while we were
Okay.
driving. Another one across from where I live, just he was just walking down the hill. Um, there was most memorable one would be probably the one in Oklahoma from 2 years ago. It was the most amazing one to me because he we were out bigfooting with a group, and we were out in a area. It's kind of infamous, and you may know about it. It's called Purgatory
Okay.
in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And we were out bigfooting all night, and we were on our way back to camp. And one of the guys was having problems with his truck. So we pulled over to the parking lot of a casino, and everybody else had their heads underneath the pickup truck hood, trying to help the guy. And 4 of us stayed in the pickup truck that we were in. It was my sister and I in the back seat, and 2 gentlemen in the front seat. My sister and the driver had never had a Bigfoot sighting, and we were always on them, telling them to stay off their phones because they were always playing
All right.
on their phones. Every time we would stop, their heads would be, down, looking at their phones, playing on some game. I don't know what they were doing. And I would always tell my sister, if you want to see one, you have to always be alert. And I don't care where you're at. Always be alert, be aware of your surroundings no matter what. And here we are in the parking lot of a casino, bright lights. Chuck and I, the guy in the passenger seat, and myself, we were the only ones actually watching. We weren't really watching for Bigfoot, but here comes one running out between 2 buildings, across a brightly lit parking lot, and across the road into the woods on the other side. And he ran. It was fast. I can't remember the distance, but I later on I measured it, on Google Earth, and the total time that it took him to run across, both Chuck and I agreed, was about 3 seconds. And so we took the time and the distance. We were able to figure out just about how fast he was going. And that was approximately 52 miles an hour.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was fast.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That is very
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, you've heard people, traveling 45, 50, even 60 miles an hour, and these things will come right up to their vehicles.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, especially when they
Wow.
get on all. Yeah. Was he on all fours or was he on two legs?
No, he was running bipedal, 2 legs.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and they say they go just as fast on two legs as they do on all fours.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty good story. Yeah, and actually, those casino areas it's a pretty common spot for them to hang out. I
Oh, yeah.
guess maybe it's food. I don't know.
Well, this particular casino, they are familiar with them, and they
Hmm.
refuse to go outside at night to take the trash out.
Was it there or another casino where they supposedly had video, but they either destroyed it or they just won't release it?
Well, we had spoken with security at this casino,
Hmm.
and they refused to show it because they said they don't want the customers to know because customers may stay away.
Right.
Or bring more.
Yeah, you never know.
Maybe bring the wrong kind though too.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Not that Bigfooters are bad, but
No.
it's unwanted attention sometimes. I think
Right.
you know.
Yeah, we'd be out in the woods rather than in there spending our money.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your group, the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project.
Well, I formed the group primarily because I had had some experiences around my home, and I wanted to know if my neighbors, people in the area, had had any experiences also.
Hmm.
And I kind of spread it out. I kept expanding out until I finally just said, okay, heck with it. We'll just name it Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. Cover the whole. And it's worked out really well. We've gotten a lot of reports. I do investigations also. And I've done, I have no idea how many I've done, but yeah, I mostly stay around like a 50-mile circumference from where I live. And
Okay.
anything else I'll farm out to friends that I can trust.
Right.
And did you find that any of your neighbors were having any experiences or themselves?
Over there, they were pretty tight-lipped,
Mhm.
but I eventually heard about someone having a sighting in a local state park, only a few miles, maybe 5 miles from where I live.
Okay.
And then later found a video on YouTube, someone 1 mile from me,
Oh wow,
having a sighting. So, okay.
that's pretty
Do
cool.
you ever get scared when you see a Bigfoot or anything or have an experience? Does it ever scare you?
Not really. I'm more talk.
Yeah.
and
Adrenaline. Yeah.
running, and then later on, after it's over, then you start thinking, okay, one, and I'm out here in the woods. There's always more. Where there's one, there's always more,
Right.
and because you never know what their intentions are. They're like humans. They can have good days, they can have bad days. Their wife can be sending them out to get dinner, and they're coming up empty. Yeah, who knows? But no, you have to have respect for them no matter what.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell everyone in my group. I teach them to respect them, respect their territory, just respect them, in many ways.
So where do you stand on what they are? Are they flesh and blood? Are they
I
demons? Are they Are they aliens?
No, I'm in the flesh and blood.
Yeah, that's where I am too. And you hear a bunch of, I guess, strange encounters or strange sightings, and I don't discount those
No.
sightings. Because you don't know what a person experienced, so I'm not going to tell anyone that what they saw or what they didn't see.
Right. Yeah.
But
Different people's perception. Uh, there's the also a chance that they got hit with infrasound,
Right.
and that will affect quite thieves and their emotional and physical state.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think even just the fear and the trauma itself can affect the way our brains work. And again, I'm not discounting what anyone saw. They may have seen something disappear. But I'm in the flesh and blood group, and I think this is a natural animal, and for whatever reason, it's not being told to the public that these things exist.
Our government wants to keep it quiet for many reasons, and to be honest, and this shocks a lot of people, but my goal is really to not prove them. I couldn't care less if they're proven.
Right.
I really couldn't care less. I know they exist. My goal is just to help others learn about them. That's my goal.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I just want to share information and put information out there, and let people know that they're out there, and just like any other animal, they got to be careful and watch out what they do, and like you say, respect them, just like you would respect a mountain lion or a grizzly bear or anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. You can call it a mission statement, is to respect, learn more, share what you know, but have fun while you're doing it. And that's what we do. We always have fun when we're out.
Yeah. You got to have fun. I've been out with one group earlier on when I first started doing this, and they were like, there's no laughing and don't be joking around, and I'm like, oh, what the hell, man, Yeah.
I wouldn't make it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was the only time I went out with them, and even like yesterday when I met that gentleman for the first time, we were laughing and joking, and I had him rolling out there, and where we went was where he had his encounter, and it was a dead end road, and it was, even in the daytime, it's one of those areas where it's spooky.
Oh yeah.
And I was trying to make light of the situation, and we had a few laughs back there, and he actually jumped at one time, and I couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was the funniest thing, and he was a good sport about it too. He was laughing himself, just to show you how jumpy he was. And if anybody wants to hear this encounter, you have to go to William Jevning's Creek Devil. It's on YouTube. I don't want to give away his stuff because I'm actually the executive director for the Jevning Research Group.
Oh.
So I do most of my Bigfoot stuff under his flag, if you will. But when I met the guy yesterday, there's a creek there, and the night of his initial encounter, there was no water there, so he was able to go up and down that creek. But yesterday, it was maybe 2 or 3 feet of water there. So we're kind of filming, panning around, and the reflection of the water, the shimmering kind of bounced off one of the trees, and man, he jumped back so fast. It was just a funny thing, and I started laughing at him. I said, "Man," I said, "Calm down, man, calm down." He's like, "Dude," he said, "I'm so jumpy now." He says, even at his house, he's jumpy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the encounter that he had, it scared him, and he has nightmares and stuff still.
Aw.
But
Wow.
Yeah, but he really is good about it, in a good place, and he doesn't mind joking around. Well, at least with me anyway, he didn't mind joking around. He says his girlfriend messes with scare him sometimes too, And he says, like, before, she would try to scare him, and he goes, "I wouldn't even flinch." He says, now he jumps, So she's, so like I say, he's a good sport about it. So I'm happy for him. And, hopefully that means he can get past it a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many people suffer from PTSD
Right.
after their encounter. And,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. He's actually a military guy, and he had PTSD from that.
Oh.
And he says it's pretty comparable. It's a little bit different, but it's kind of the same thing,
Right.
So maybe it can, however he dealt with that can help him deal with this a little bit too.
Yeah.
And like I say, he's a good guy. He's in a good place, so I think he'll be fine. That's kind of interesting, Shannon. Do you find that in the paranormal field where people can get that kind of PTSD? Because we find that in the Bigfoot field quite a bit, where people have nightmares and are never really the same afterwards after they
Yeah.
have, especially like a
Well,
bad encounter.
a lot of that reasoning is like for attachments, for negative energy, whether it be like a full on attachment or just some like residual energy attached. They'll kind of linger with the person and make them definitely a bad mood for a while. But yeah, I mean, there's been some really scary encounters. I mean, absolutely. I get an adrenaline rush from it.
Right.
But I mean, having seen people push down the stairs right next to me, like sitting down, actually pulled down the staircase. When Tiffany got kicked in the back, and the girl on my team, and went flying down these concrete stairs and landed on the phone and scraped her leg up it was road rash for months, for a couple months. But I mean, yeah, there's definitely when stuff like that happens, it's just kind of part of what we deal with to do what we do. But
Yeah. That's interesting. Do you have any questions for her, maybe, Shannon?
yeah, I mean, do y'all have you ever bring kids out with you, or is there an age limit y'all like to try to stick to when you go out and hunt?
Yeah, I won't bring kids because it can turn dangerous.
Right.
And
Because I'm pretty new.
yeah, I will do that. I'll wait until maybe 12. It just depends on their maturity level and
Right.
their experience in the woods. Yeah, that really watch for. But
Right.
even with adults, I have to gauge them first before I take anyone out.
Right.
Because if there's somebody that's likely to run at the first sighting or even the first wood knock, you don't want somebody who's going to be running out on you. you need somebody who has your back.
Not just that, but it can turn dangerous if they start running. Yeah.
Right.
And
Alpha predator and
mm-hmm.
running person or running figure can be prey.
Right.
Perceived as prey.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That instinct kicks in, and that goes for any animal, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard some horror stories about people going out for the first time. I went out with a guy one night, and I mean, we were just out there in the dark, and there was nothing going on, but he was freaking out. He was like, "No, we gotta go. I'm gonna go." I said, "Dude, there's nothing. We're just hearing crickets and frogs.
Yeah.
That's all we hear." And like in the same, he said, "Man, the crickets and the frogs can be deafening." And I mean, and that's all it was. And he was like, "No, man, we gotta go. We gotta go. I was like, "Man, come on, man. We just got here, And he's like, "No, man, we gotta go." So we wound up leaving earlier than I wanted to. Then we had another guy. He woke us up in the middle of the night, and it's a big tent, and he's like spinning around in circles with a gun in his hand, just like that. He says he heard I heard a monkey or a chimpanzee or whatever he said. And we're like, we didn't hear nothing. I'm like, hey, put the damn gun down. Put the gun down,
Yeah. The gun's no good anyways.
Yeah, especially against, one of these things. All you can do is really get us all killed at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to vet everyone that goes out there with me.
Yeah.
At least get an idea. Early on, when I started researching, I would take my kids out there, and I would let them run way ahead of me and stuff, And before I really, knew what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty funny. So do you do like most of your research there at the state parks, or do you go to private property at all, or?
Very little private property, unless I am invited. A neighbor of mine, an experience, and I told him I'll check it out anytime he. But I think I respect private property, and until he invites me on, yeah, mostly state parks and other, some state game lands and so on. There's plenty of reports that I don't need to go into private property.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same here, and that's one of the things me and Shannon talked about. The state parks are so accessible, and there's so much land there, and
Right.
And at least here in Texas, we don't have to really get permits to go camping, unless you camp at the campground itself.
Yeah.
You know, that's different. But other than that, we can go camp wherever we want to camp in the state park. We don't have to ask permission. So that's one of the things I like about that.
We can also, as long as we're 300 feet away from road.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the other rules are, but I think that's primarily it.
Yeah, you gotta be like so far away from the water source.
Right. That's 300.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Do you see like a common factor? A lot of people that go out and hunt Bigfoot that you come across are also paranormal investigators, or do both?
A lot of them crossed over. Yeah, they do both. A lot of my friends, they started out as paranormal investigations, and they've crossed over to Bigfoot. And one problem that I see with that, though, is some things you can carry over into Bigfooting in your research, but some things you can't. You know, not everything is paranormal, and they seem to ascribe too much into the paranormal realm. And but you know, like I said, I'm open, you know, to because there are some crazy things that happen while you're Bigfooting, but you just have to balance it out, no matter what.
Right, and we've Joe and I talked before. It's like a lot of times what you're getting in the woods is also could be from like Native American energy there, spirits and stuff. So it might be a mixture of both, or
Right.
So I want to go. I want to have fun. Let's check it out.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine. He was looking at a tree structure, and he said right behind him in his ear, he heard something go psst, just like that. So I think there is paranormal stuff that goes on.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Areas that are haunted per se, or there's something else there along with Bigfoot, and I've seen that. But one thing doesn't actually, can't actually be. Yeah.
Right.
Well, speaking of like strange stuff that happens in the woods, at least down here, there's always reports of orbs. Do you get that at all?
Yes. Yeah, there's me personally, I haven't seen any into Bigfooting, but a lot of friends have.
Right. Yeah, and I believe that that they've seen them. I don't doubt it a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough reports out there. And for like I said, you have friends that seen it. So have I. I don't know if this is Big Dog here, but I know Big Dog had a pretty good story where there was actually so many of them that it was hard to tell where the car headlights were at. Because somebody had drove a car up there to come pick them up, and they couldn't even tell what lights were what. So yeah, I believe that stuff goes on out there, but
yeah, who knows what it is? We really don't know if it's in correlation with the Bigfoot, if it's something that they're seeing, or is there something totally separate that's happening that who knows?
Right.
So when you go out and you do your research, are you being just a regular camper or hiker, or are you trying wood knocks and howls?
Personally, no. I just go as a hiker camper. I get more results that way.
Yeah.
I had a bad experience one time whenever I did some howls. I was alone and brought something home with me. A Bigfoot followed me home.
Oh, really?
They will do that.
Yeah.
And, for about an hour, that around 2 o'clock in the morning, they pounded on the side of my house, all sides. Something jumped up on the roof. I have no idea what. Smaller one have to be.
You're kind of breaking up.
Something came, followed me home.
Yeah.
And it was pounding on the side of the house.
Well, that could cause PTSD. Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, and that's pretty common occurrence too, especially people that that live out in the country like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't do that either. I try to be a regular camper or hiker. I have set out like the little chem lights. You snap and you shake up and they glow.
Mm-hmm.
That probably didn't look right, but I've hung them from the trees,
Yeah.
and I've seen them dance around a little bit. uh, then one day I had a dog whistle. A friend of mine told me to try it out. He said he always gets like some pretty good results.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so, and I don't recommend anyone doing that. Every time I tell this story, I tell them, "Man, don't do it." So,
No.
have you tried it?
No.
Okay,
No.
well, don't try it.
No, I
So
don't.
I blew on this whistle like 4 or 5 times, and when I did, we got a growl. It sounded so demonic, and it hit me like right in the chest, and it was so loud, yet it didn't fill up the forest. It was just like projected towards us. It went from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I said, I'll never take that dog whistle out there again. And I tell everyone else, man, don't do it. Because whatever it was, didn't like it.
Yeah, I've been growled out from fairly close also. And yeah, it's a not a nice experience.
What happened at that occasion? What was going on?
Well, yeah, again, that was on that Oklahoma trip.
Okay.
Yeah, my sister and I had gone out there for a whole week with a bunch of friends, and we went out every night and had experiences every single night. At the very least, eye shine and vocals, and but I think almost everyone had a sighting on that trip. There was about 14 of us altogether.
Okay.
And yeah, the one night we had driven up an old dirt road, and it was a dead end. And I think my sister, she was a newbie, and I didn't want to leave her alone, so I stuck around the truck with her. And everybody else went, off. Some went into the woods, some went up, walking on the road. And one of the researchers came back, sat in the truck with me, and my sister. And my sister, as usual, was playing on her phone. And I had my window open, and all of a sudden, there's something growling from 8 feet away.
How far?
About 8.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there was bushes on the side of the road.
Okay.
And yeah, it was startling.
That's crazy.
Yeah, growls are not friendly sounding to me at all.
Now, he wanted us gone. I think we interrupted hunting.
Okay.
A pack that was hunting, and we interrupted that because we saw a hog. And
oh, okay. So you mentioned your sister. What did your family think about, or even those people, your close family and friends, think about what you do?
My daughter thinks I'm nuts. But everybody else, they go for it.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. It's good when you got people who support you, and I don't think I have anyone that necessarily doesn't support me as much as they just don't care what I do.
Yeah.
And there's no really like any negative feedback, at least not to my face. But it seems like everyone's there, like, okay, yeah, that's cool. But it's funny. I'll always get an occasional message, or someone will call me up and like ask me questions about something. Even like at work, somebody will pull me to the side and tell me about something that happened to them a long time ago, or they'll even tell me, hey, I was talking to my uncle this weekend, and he mentioned that when he was younger, he saw something, and So I like that. I'm pretty open with it, because you never know when you're gonna get a story, and even if it's just a story and you don't really have any good solid data to write down or to document, at least you have a story about a location, and you can kind of file that away a little bit,
Right.
Yeah.
Stories from long ago. Yeah, you never know; they may still be around.
Right.
In that area, so it's always worth following up on, even if it's decades old.
Right. Yeah. So, do you guys have any famous monsters in Pennsylvania?
Uh, let's see. Hmm, I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. You know how like yeah, you have the the Boggy Creek monster, or then you have
Yeah,
the Beast of Whitehall.
yeah.
Uh, so when I moved outside of San Antonio, I used to live in a place called Universal City, and someone I don't know who this Facebook user is, but they put I think Joe is crazy. Uh, I used to
Sure.
live in it was called Universal City, and the little town right next to us was called Converse. Well, come to find out, they had what was called the Converse Werewolf. You know,
Oh, okay.
so I think probably a lot more places have these little monsters or creatures.
Okay.
That if we kind of poke around, we'll probably find them.
Yeah,
That's
that reminded me. Yeah, there is one in central Pennsylvania in Lang County. There's a creature called let me pronounce this correctly, Albatwitch. And it's a 4 foot tall, hairy creature that steals apples from the apple trees. The Pennsylvania Dutch named them the Albatwitch.
huh.
And
That's interesting.
that 4 foot tall and hairy, it's probably juvenile Bigfoot. Just waiting their
Yeah.
apples.
Hmm. Where do you stand on other cryptids, like for instance the Dogman?
Oh, I believe firmly that there is Dogman. There's been quite a few sightings around my immediate area.
Hmm. Yeah, I think Pennsylvania is actually a pretty popular state for
Yeah.
Dogman. Yeah.
Can y'all explain Dogman for people like me that doesn't understand what Dogman is?
Uh, Dogman is, well, I don't know. You
Well, there are a couple of theories out there. One is that it's just it's an upright walking canine. It's got the many of the sightings have the how if a dog stood up, it looks like the knees are backwards basically. So
like,
you get a lot of that, uh, and they're oftentimes seen on all fours, and even when they stand up, they'll start like their bones will like readjust, and you'll hear the popping and stuff like that. But then there's also the second theory, which I guess I'm lean more towards, and I'm not 100% convinced on that. I think it's actually more of a primate, just more like the baboon type, you know.
yeah, I'm back and forth on, well,
Yeah.
I think really that there's two types of Dogman.
Hmm.
In my humble opinion. I think that there's ones that are primates, but their legs do not have the shape of the dog.
Right. Yeah.
Ones with the shape of the dog, they are the true dog man, and they are something else.
Right.
Have you heard of Land Between the Lakes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. 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 That's a very crazy area in
yeah,
itself. Yeah.
yeah. The Beast of Land Between the Lakes was really a dog man.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think there's definitely the two versions: the one with the more humanoid legs, and then the more dog-looking legs. Yeah. And yeah, they're both beside spotted, and sometimes they have a tail, and sometimes they don't. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know which one, if they both sometimes have it or they both sometimes don't. I don't know how that works, but I've never really gotten a positive answer on that. Like all the ones with the backward looking legs have the tail, or all the ones with the humanoid looking legs have the tail. I think I've heard them both.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure on that. So don't everyone chew me up and send me hate mail for not knowing that little detail. But
Send it.
yeah, send it to Shannon.
Yeah. Yeah. Forward.
Yeah. Um, what about like reptilians? Have you heard anything about that? Like the only place I've heard reptilians is like in like Louisiana, maybe Mississippi.
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah. Toward the south. Yeah. Around here, uh, I think around here it would be more like the Lake Erie. There's supposedly, like Nessie over in
Okay. Yeah.
supposedly a Lake Erie monster.
Hmm.
But other than
Well,
not,
here in Texas, I just moved out of a house almost 3 months ago, and there was just a lot going on there. I can't even get into everything right now, but right before I moved out, I had this like workshop in the back, and it was always creepy. Anybody that's ever been there was like, as soon as they pull up, they can see it through the side fence, or like that place is creepy. And I'm like, I know, I don't ever go in my backyard. Well, I had someone with me, another investigator, and she was coming to check out the property in the house. Like I was, had a lot of people curious that would go there. And we opened up the doors, and as soon as we went to open it up to the shop, we see this head this big that is black with ears and like a muscular shoulders and like up, like kind of hunched over. And we just looked at each other in absolute shock. And she was to the right of me a little bit, so she got a little bit of the sunlight in its eyes. I didn't get to see that part of it though. And she said its eyes lit up like, like glowing gold. But we freaked out. We got our composure. We got some rakes and shovels. And we were going in because we wanted to know what the heck that was. And we were shaking. And we finally get to turn the light on with the rake, and then we looked around and there was nothing in there, nothing at all. And like we knew what we seen. And then all of a sudden, a few minutes later, this cat about this big just comes running out of there, and we know that's not what we seen. But the took off running and went around the corner. And then went to jump over the fence, like a 4-foot tall fence. It jumped like 10 feet in the air and was gone. And I'm like, I know for a fact. But describing that, I had a gentleman tell me that he grew up in that same neighborhood and that he had seen and witnessed the exact same thing there. But I don't know what that was, but I don't ever want to see it again. Though it was terrified us.
Oh, that would, yeah. I have absolutely no interest in seeing a dog man. No interest.
Yeah. There are people out there that look for it, and I'm not trying to find it.
Nope.
If I see a sign of it, I'm going the other way.
Yes. Yes. They have a bad enough reputation. I don't want to be one of the missing 411s.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Just so you know, Shannon, also the dog man is known to be like probably way more aggressive than a Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And most of those encounters are pretty terrifying, and
good.
Yeah. So yes, that's probably like the one thing you don't want to run into is a dog man. Yeah, and they've been known to chase cars too, and yeah. They're
no, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'll stick to my dead people.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. There's also a thing going around, and every now and then it kind of comes around. It'll pick up some speed, it'll drop off, come around again, and just kind of go in a cycle. But it's the bat squatch. What do you think about the bat squatch? And again, I'm not making fun of anyone. Yeah. I just don't know if that's physically possible. But I guess a bumblebee's not supposed to fly either. But
yeah, sounds more like moth.
Yeah, maybe a mothman, right?
That's kind of what that sounds like, But over in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and no, I have no idea. I haven't got any reports about that.
Yeah. I haven't got any reports, but every now and then it'll make its rounds on Facebook. The bat squatch.
Yeah.
That's basically Shannon, a Bigfoot with big bat wings.
I have nothing. I have nothing. I don't know.
Yeah. And like I said, it just seems like. I don't know if it would make sense for the Sasquatch to have wings,
Yeah.
Yeah, genetically, because it's the weight. Yeah.
Yeah, and and you're in the woods with wings that big, be necessarily useful in a wooded area. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. It doesn't make sense, but also like the Jersey Devil. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah. The Jersey Devil is pretty interesting. I don't know if I believe in that or not. But I don't know if I necessarily don't believe in it either. Because there's been some pretty good, at least physical evidence that people have come up with if it's true evidence. So I don't know. That's pretty interesting. See, Shannon, you need to become get into the cryptid field a little bit more.
Yes, you do.
Well, after what I've seen, I mean, I have curiosity, definitely, absolutely, because a lot of these things could just be dark negative energy manifesting itself, demonic presence. So I mean, like, yeah, I would like just to further my understanding and educate myself more and be more
Right.
well-rounded. Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting into it. I do have curiosity
Yeah.
because of what I seen. I mean, I know what I seen, and there was no going. And there was somebody there with me, and we were traumatized from it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A friend of mine is a sensitive, and she has seen a couple dog men uh, as, I guess, spirit. I really don't know, but I really don't know about dogman. I honestly don't.
Right.
But yeah, she has seen a few that couple that would alongside of the road, and they stared at her, and she said she could feel the demonic from them, and
Right.
they disappeared in the mist.
Let me see if I can pull this cat up on here. What I
And,
seen.
and I think a lot of people get that impression from Dogman that it's something demonic. Even people who aren't into the paranormal, people
Yeah.
just normal everyday people will tell you that they got the feeling that this thing wanted to scare them. You know, that it almost fed off that. You know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like yours was a crossover, Shannon.
It was something, I'm telling you, because we know what we've seen, and when we saw that little cat, it's like there was nothing. No one could ever try to convince us that was a cat that what we actually seen. It
Yeah.
shifted into a little cat, and it got the heck out of there. But it didn't do it right away. It waited minutes after we cleared that place, and we're like, "There's nothing here." Then all of a sudden, this cat goes, but we did not see a little cat because the head was bigger than that little cat that we seen.
Yeah.
It was massive with massive, like muscular, almost like a shiny, smooth black fur kind of thing silhouette. Is what I said. No, there's no.
Yep.
I know what I seen.
And you went after it with rakes.
With a rake. Yeah.
I know because like we we had to find out, but we had to go to the carport. We got the rakes. We were like, we got to go in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, and she went in first. And I tapped. I was trying to get the light switch on, so I ended up tapping something she was close to. Took off running, and so we had to keep starting over because we were shaking. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, you just don't see stuff like that. So we were trying, but yeah, the once we finally like saw there was nothing in there, we're like, there's no way. There's no way. We were looking for holes that something could have got through or something to escape. We walked around the backside, and then here's this cat just running out. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
nothing can convince me that that was a cat. I will refuse to believe it.
Yeah, there was Bigfoot that would come around my house every 3 weeks, and he would harass us, try to scare me, but he would scare my dog, and it would just make me so angry the way that he was bullying and scaring my dog. So finally, I sat up one night, and I rushed out the back door, grabbed a golf club that I had sitting there, and chased after him, and he just ran off.
It's funny. You seem that seems to be a common theme. People won't back down from a Bigfoot when it comes to their dogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
don't mess with my dogs. Yeah. Is there any place that you've been wanting to investigate as far as in anywhere in the country for that matter that you would like to travel to? And
yeah,
check
in the
out?
country, I've got a lot of bucket lists. But yeah, Texas, I've got a couple areas in Texas, Davy Crockett, and
Yeah.
I want to hit up Boykin Springs and the Big Thick. Yeah, whenever we were in Oklahoma, we crossed over the Red River because we were at Brown Springs, and we crossed over to Texas, but we really didn't do any bigfooting there. But we stayed primarily around Brown Springs,
Okay.
which is
Yeah.
a little miss also, if you've heard of that.
Is the what now?
Brown Springs.
Mhm.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah, that's a pretty popular area for like paranormal and Bigfoot and even like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Supposedly been a few killings there,
yeah.
a few deaths.
If y'all ever come down to Texas, I was gonna say Houston, you ever come down to Texas, let me know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll show you some good areas.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Take it to that area. The guy got triangled off. you know,
Yeah.
it's a long road. It's a dead end too. At that, and he. When it's funny when we went there and we pulled down and he was turning his car around. So there's like a little circle down there. And he's turning his truck around. He goes, "I'm turning my truck around right now." He goes, "I'm not going to make that mistake I did last time." I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, he parked into the wrong way and had trouble getting out."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I learned that first off from a friend of mine. He serves as my mentor, and he taught me to, whenever I park, I always turn around so I'm pointing out, because you never know whenever you have to make a fast egress.
Yeah. And he had a brand new truck, and he said, he goes, "This is exactly the reason why I bought it, because he had a little car at first. He goes,
Yeah.
now I got a big truck, so when we come down these dirt roads."
Yep.
Yeah.
He's serious, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's one of those people that, because you know how usually you get the people who are like, who either have when they get that experience, they either dive into it or they go away. Well, he's one of the guys that's really thrown himself into it.
Good.
Yeah. He's bought all kinds of equipment already, so he's.
What's a go-to thing that you typically bring with you when you are out investigating or researching? What is something you always want to have on you yourself personally?
Well, I don't like to carry a heck of a lot of equipment, because the more you carry, the more the weight and
Right.
cumbersome. No, I usually just carry a flashlight and maybe an audio recorder sometimes, but primarily a flashlight. In fact, it's a bright spotlight. That's another thing my mentor taught me, was take at least 750 lumens spotlight, because whenever you're out at night, because their eyes are accustomed to the night whenever they're out at night, and that'll stop them, if they get a little aggressive.
Right. Got you. Hey, Mike, how are you?
I was going to ask you a question. I forgot I was going to ask you. What was it? Shannon, Shannon threw me off right there when she talked about
dementia.
I knew what it was. We're talking about equipment. How we had talked earlier about cameras, or even like game cams. You're probably not going to catch anything off of a game cam, and I know that, but I try anyway.
Yeah.
Because you never know. There are people out there with some game cams, that do have a few pictures here and there.
Right.
And but I think your best evidence is going to come from audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have my iPhone with me. That's another piece of equipment. Mm-hmm. But that's about it.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I actually have a gimbal that I bought for my iPhone, so I'm not shaking. Like yesterday when I first got to the spot, I was cold. My hands were just like shivering. I was like, so I went back to the truck and I got my gimbal out. Once I got my gimbal out, everything was more stationary. So yeah.
I'll have to try that, or else a selfie stick, one or the other, to hold it steady.
Yeah. I think I got my gimbal for like $30 off of Amazon.
Oh yeah.
It stabilizes it and everything, and it it's got the little toggle switch on it. You can control it with pan left to right, up or down.
Oh yeah. You'll have to send me the link for that.
Yeah.
I need to get one of those too, especially for like last night. At them all over the place when we were live. Yeah, that would be helpful.
That's what I had the night I went to the mineral wells with you.
Right.
Yeah. It was walking up and down the stairs. Get all this shakiness.
Right.
It's stabilized. So I like that a lot. So, Miss Mary, we're running up on the end of the show. You have anything you want to add or tell people, or how to find you if they want to contact you, especially there in Pennsylvania?
Yes. Well, they can contact me if they're on Facebook. Join the group. It's Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. Or email me at PennsylvaniaBigfootProject@gmail.com. I know it's long. But I also run the only female research group in Pennsylvania, which is Monkey Wench.
Monkey Wench?
Yep, Monkey Wench.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like that.
The book group is the discussion group, to talk to people and teach them. But Monkey Wench is the research group.
Okay, cool. So, well, like, what advice would you give someone like a newbie who wants to get into the researching or investigation of Bigfoot?
Don't just run out there in the woods expecting to see Bigfoot the first time. It may take years.
Right.
You may never see them, but just go with respect is my primary advice. Go with respect.
Well, that's good advice. Yeah, I think so. I think some people go out there and they expect to see Bigfoot every time, and sometimes you're just out there camping, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Have fun no matter what you're doing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, cool beans. Shannon, you have anything you want to add or anything you want to say?
It was just nice to meet you, and I'll go on there and I'll follow you and try to get aboard.
Yeah,
And I like
you.
Maybe you can become a monkey winch.
That's cool though. I definitely have some curiosities for sure. I mean, I'm always going to be primarily paranormal and metaphysical, but
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely, I need to learn. There's nothing wrong with educating yourself more and learning more, being more broadly educated. So, but yeah, very nice to meet you, and
Nice meeting you also.
absolutely.
Yeah, guys, everyone in the chat room, thanks a lot, man. You guys always do a good job. Like I said, the more and more shows we do, the more and more participation we get from you guys. So I do appreciate that. And see you guys next time. And you two guys, hold on real quick. We're going to end the show. Bye, everyone.
All right.
Bye.